Hello everyone watching at home, welcome to the final round of the Adelaide Eternal Highlander Challenge for February 2020. I am Sarven McLinton and in the booth with me is Beckett Wolfe.
Get around the finals, baby.
Yes, indeed. So, James Arthur has been absolutely carving it up. You have seen him in the previous rounds, and he is undefeated and able to now play against a undefeated player in the form of Drew Carter as well. So, the two of them are going to be clashing. It's going to be a clash of the heavyweights. I believe that James is on 4-0 undefeated, and Drew is on 3-0-1. With a draw. So it's going to be either way, it's going to be winner takes all. So regardless. And let's have a look at their player profiles. So first of all, we've got James Arthur there on the screen. He has been an absolute staple in the Adelaide Eternal community and has been taking down a number of our Legacy and
not
Highlander.
Least of all, to mention the most recent Invitational, which he beat me in.
He is, in fact, South Australia's invitational player going into the Highlander Invitational, and that will be taking place roughly around the time of this airing. So the Highlander Invitational will have either just taken place or is just about to. So make sure that you check out the coverage of the Highlander Invitational on Facebook. Let's switch over to Drew Carter's player profile. So Drew Carter has also been carving it up specifically in Highlander. He plays Legacy mainly because we rope him into it and we say, here's a deck and play, and he does quite well doing that, but Highlander is his passion, and as you can see, his Highlander wins there on the screen. He's always bringing something bizarre, something fringy. He's always playing something that people kind of turn their nose up at and then they lose to it and they go, oh, wait a second, Wolfe Infiltrator is probably actually the real deal, because that was me. I think Wolfe Infiltrator is actually quite good now after having lost to it multiple times.
Yeah, card's very, very good. Speaking of Drew's list, shall we go into his list? He's on Bourbon and Coke. Previously Bauble and Coke, previously Bourbon and Coke.
Previously literal bourbon and Coke having been spilt on his cards, which is where the name comes from.
It's still going so well. He was saying that one of the things he's concerned about... Despite the dampness. Yeah, he's not playing dampening sphere, is he? I think he recently said on... he was explaining that control decks he feels like can go to time a lot, and so he's added a few more threats to his deck only because he's scared of going to time.
I think, in the past he
was
kind of
play style
with,
as well.
Yeah, he was played with continual draws constantly, and then he just kind of flipped the script. He just, took a different tack on control and chucked in the Chain Lightning alongside Lightning Bolt, and then also with things like Bone Crushing Giant.
Brazen Borrower is a threat. You know?
But then Monastery Mentor, and then having things like Brazen Borrower to bounce their thing and tempo the opponent gives his control decks this kind of tempo finish, which is really, really quite cool. He's also rocking Ancestral Recall. So Ancestral Recall is, historically, I've always pointed to it as an aggro and tempo card. You care about wanting your cards straight away. Like, I want them right now, and I don't want to jump through any hoops for delving, and I don't care if it means I've got one less power draw spell in my deck. I can't run both Dig Through Time and Treasure Cruise, but I want those cards now, and I want to use them now. So, like, you can offload your burn spells, or you can offload your tempo creatures and ride it. So we rarely see Ancestral Recall in control decks anymore. Gone are the days of, the Kurgan, where it used to have mystical teachings to find, Ancestral Recall and all these things, Merchant Scroll and so on. And Drew's taken it the other way and he's gone, I'm going to have a control deck with Ancestral Recall and just try and use traditionally tempo cards, A-Call and Gush, for example, as a way of just, flipping the script and going like, I'm not actually control, I'm actually like really, really low to the ground.
Well, they work. And he says that A-Call's the best card in his deck.
Yep.
Even considering the four points.
Yeah, it's one of the best conversion rates, which is sweet as well. His top of his curve, he's only got one expensive card. You note that all the cards aside from obviously Entreat the Angels, which is a flexible mana cost, the only expensive card in the deck everything is so like 1 and 2 mana, right? Then he's got
to the point that he's even playing baubles. Mishra's Bauble, Arkham's Astrolabe. I mean, Astrolabe's a good card either way, but that's how much he's respecting just being able to play, and that's part of Future Sight, isn't it?
Yeah,
when he's to be able to just keep flipping.
That's it. Future Sight is that top of the curve, and as he's said before, Future Sight just always wins any fair matchup. So if you're not playing against combo, the moment you resolve Future Sight, you're just basically not going to lose. And I wonder how that's going to match up against James's deck. So James is on a tempo deck, and it's a 4-color tempo deck. So it's basically the rug colors, but it's also got white because white allows him access to a number of interesting threats, which you'll be able to see there on the screen. The addition of white is why we've kind of used Rug Life as this comparison for tempo, and now any tempo decks are kind of inheriting names. So this is like Rug White. It's just, the name just kind of stuck because it's just Rug with white in it. Same way as like the budget version of Rug Life is Rug Light. It's now the naming convention. So
James is still tweaking this list. Last time I played him, I think he had Wild Nacatl and a few other cards, and he's since cut that. So he's still tweaking it, but even before it was finished in his mind, he was still posting some really good results with it. 4 colours gives him access to evasive action. The white's also for Knight of the Reliquary, Lightning Helix, and Mantis Rider.
Right? He is so high on Mantis Rider. I was chatting with him, and I'm like, what do you think about it? I like this, but like, how is it positioned and everything? And he's like, it's really good. It's really good. And Questing Beast, right? So he strongly values haste threats, and it's something that I want to play around with a lot because I've played like Goblin Guide, and I really love Goblin Guide. I think it's amazing, and it's one of the best, tempo and aggro cards, but especially tempo cards.
I've been on Strangleroot Geist for a very long time.
Strangleroot Geist, exactly. And I think we have just in general in Highlander undervalued the value of haste in the format, and I think the Questing Beast, the moment that got printed and people kind of looked at it and went, yeah, okay, that's fine, that just dies to Doomblade, etc., etc. And then they play it and you're like, wow, this is really good. Haste is so good on that. I think there's been a resurgence, like Mantis Rider, Strangleroot Geist, Goblin Guide. Like the value of haste is really high now, I think.
I completely agree.
And he's got what's the other thing with does the Glorybringer have haste?
Glorybringer's got haste. Yeah, because he's on as well. Yeah.
He's on like 3 really, really heavy hitting haste threats in Mantis Rider at 3.
Well, it's also because they're the more expensive cards. Yeah. So he's not playing this deck where you want to go like turn 5, some big thing, and then like have to untap to win with it. Yeah. It's an aggressive deck. He's playing aggressive. He's playing Bolt Helix. He's got a few little counters in there, but it's an aggro deck.
Yeah, it's tempo. So like it's on that presenting the aggro threat and then defending it, or soft mission. But you'll note that Titania, Protector of Argoth, is in his sideboard, and we've chatted about that before. And he's like, nah, just haste. Haste is so good at closing the game. He doesn't want to, dirtle around there, create a couple of critters and then get them Anger of the Gods. He wants to just like hit that threat, attack his opponent, get that value or that tempo or the damage in now. Then if something happens later, he's got the top deck out of, hey, I've drawn Questing Beast and I just win the game, rather than, try to stabilise.
Yeah, that's right. And I apologise, he is on Wild Nacatl. I missed that. But... Yeah. He's still definitely tweaking with it, and I completely agree. He wants to keep it aggro, and it's a sweet list, man.
Yeah, I really like the lands package where, Light of the Reliquary for him is just like big. It's just a keyword big. But also Stripmine Wasteland and then having Knight and the Elvish Reclaimer is super consistent.
Reclaim is really strong, and Reclaim is also this aggro card because you can play it turn 1. If you're trying to play this tempo game, you can play this turn 1 threat. It can like help you get good lands, fix your mana, and it can also like power out like Wasteland Stripmine locks. Not quite locks, but I guess punishment.
Yeah, well, let's see how they line up. The players in the match are just drawing their cards, so I think that looks like 7 on James's side and 7. So I guess with the new London Mulligan rule, we can't really tell whether any mulligans have taken place until someone puts someone away.
They're both on Brazen Borrower as well.
Well, look, Brazen Borrower and Stomp,
high.
I think are just the place to be in Highlander. Like, if you're not playing these two cards, you know, you're losing out on a lot of value. So blue and red are a great combo. So we've got Gideon of the Trials on the right, and then we've got... he's gone away anyway. Yeah, so this is a Wasteland hand with Oko. So Wasteland hands can be pretty, you know, high upside. Even if you've only got one land, the odds of you know, let's say it's 10% of the games. 10% of the games, you notice your opponent misses their land drop, and you just go... Well,
especially against a mulligan, because it's just such an easy way to 1-for-1 someone. So if you forget about like, I got you with Wasteland, like even if Drew draws extra like lands this game, like just the fact that James is now able to trade 1-for-1 is pretty decent, assuming that James is on the draw, because then he's up 2 cards already. And he slows the game down with Wasteland. So
this hand's got Path, Chain, Volk. Like, he's actually got heaps of interaction and balance. Like it's.
We didn't even talk about balance. That's sort of the main component of the deck, isn't it?
Balance. Drew is all about balance.
Have you played against Drew being just so far ahead?
Yeah.
You're laughing at him, and then you just get balanced, and you're like...
It's so miserable.
It's miserable.
Just when, you know, he's engineered his whole deck around...
You're like, well, I'm up on board, so I don't even lose to... But I don't even lose to Wrath of God, because I'm also up on cards, and I'm up on life, and I'm up on...
I've got the days for that thing, you know, and it's like, wait, 2 mana
then
balance.
You just get absolutely blown out, and you're like, oh my God, and then he just goes, yep, Monster Mentor...
Drew is really, really extolled the virtues of balance, and has often been cited as, you know, saying that like balance is one of the most underplayed cards, because in history balance is one of the best card advantage cards, right? You know, you've got A-Call, which is 1 mana for 3 cards, and then you've got, so 1 card for 3. Then you've got Balance, which can, you know, is meant to, on the surface, be 2 for 2, 3 for 3, whatever. But in reality, it's often like 1 for 4 or something along those lines. And so he's playing 2 of the most powerful, there's Bone Crusher, Giant Stomp, 2 of the most powerful card advantage cards in the game, Balance and A-Call, and Mystical Tutor to find them both.
Absolutely. And you don't care about losing the card advantage to Mystical Tutor. I think it's way better to be Mystical Tutoring for that than A-Call, because you Mystical Tutor for A-Call and then it costs you a card anyway, so like you don't really get that much. You don't get the beauty out of A-Call. What's really, really powerful about it. It stops becoming unfair, and it just becomes... I guess it's still unfair, but it stops becoming absolutely Buster Runeskis to just like a better than average card.
You're rarely going to Mystical for A-Call, but there are times when you do where you're like, you've got to fetch land out, so you Mystical for A-Call, you A-Call, and then you fetch out your Mystical Mystic Sanctuary and put the A-Call back on, and then A-Call again.
Yeah, that's
like
definitely
those are the times where you do it.
But getting balance is a way to get back in there. You're never out of the game, you know, and you rely on... That's why the baubles are good in the deck, because you can go like bauble. Let's say you had... I mean, in the simplest world, you have, you know...
Dag Faden.
Chrome Mox and...
Like, this is really strong. On the play... Wait, this was on the play, right?
He's on the play, yeah.
And he's done it.
He's done it before playing Bone Crusher. Now, I think I like playing Bone Crusher there, but the reason he's probably done Dak is A, his hand's not great and he wants to fix it. B, because he wants to get Dak going before James has a creature. Because keep in mind, James is on aggro, and it's very easy for James to just deploy a hasty creature, or like, you know, something like the Hex Drinker that he just deployed before.
And there's fewer answers to Dak than there are to Bone Crusher, because as a control deck, if he plays Bone Crusher, he just switches on the removal that James might have in hand just rotting. Also note that James didn't play his Wasteland yet. So last turn he kind of had mana up, and he had preordained. He did have Wasteland in hand. I'm not imagining that, right?
No,
so he's like slow rolling that.
He's got
Wasteland.
a few lands, and Drew discarded Path to Exile there, and I think I would be tempted to keep it just because I know James is on aggro, but I guess he doesn't want James to hit the land drop, and thinks that he can keep creatures at bay, because James sort of... One of the good things about James's deck is he can actually generate a lot of value, especially when you've been Palace Jailered. It's absolutely brutal. It's such a perfect deck for Palace Jailer because he's got those haste creatures. and because he's got such a good board presence, and he can just come back into games. And so...
Yeah, he's big on Palace Jailer.
Yeah.
I don't think he's played a deck without Palace Jailer.
Palace Jailer. Well, I really rate Palace Jailer as well. I rate Custody Lich, which is 5 mana Palace Jailer. I don't know if you've ever seen that. I don't know, but it's I'm really high on that.
They sack a creature in the process, don't they?
They sack a creature instead of exiling, but every time you become the monarch, that happens.
I see.
With Palace Jailer, if they become the monarch back, they get their creature back. And if that creature's got ETB, then you're behind. But if they get it back and then you get it back, they just keep sacking.
So the reason he didn't play Bone Crusher Giant earlier was the fact that he's got balance in hand. He doesn't want to have a creature.
Well, that's why the Stomp is really, really good, because it's sort of in this... It's not in any part that balance cares about, not in any part of the game.
And Planeswalkers don't count for balance, so he wanted to deploy the Dak Faden so that when he untaps, he's now got the ability to play balance, and he's actually 2 cards up on the balance because he's got 1 thing in adventure and 1 Planeswalker out.
That's right, and he plays the land there rather than keeping it. And you might say, oh, well, he's just got to lose that. But
Brazen Borrower here,
really good.
It's not only going to make the Dak Faden get discarded, but it's also going to put an adventure out of the hand for James, so that he's going to have 1 less card.
That's exactly what you want to be doing.
And this is the absolute power of adventure spells. If you're not currently sleeving up 1 or both of these 2 cards in Highlander, you're missing out on the kind of value or the power level. Egyptian God card comes out to counter the... Wow.
We learned that from round 1, didn't we?
Yeah, this is going to be brutal because remember, it's 1 less card in Drew's hand. So now, not only does he counter that, but because there's 1 less card in Drew's hand, James has to discard more cards.
That's right. And so what I was saying before is Drew's chosen to play the land there to keep his hand low. He doesn't want the 4th land, so he's happy to sack his island. So he plays the 4th land, sacks island, and then that means... James has to discard it. And keep in mind, let's say Drew had 4 cards in hand and James had 5. It's not that powerful because James discards his worst card, but it becomes exponentially better as you get lower and lower, because then the quality of the cards you're discarding are better. So it's not just about card advantage, but the less cards Drew has, the more quality cards that he's getting out of James's hand.
And often his deck is built such that he has a single card in hand, and that's Akel. Then he just redraws up, or it's Mystical Tutor.
Well, if this is Akel here, you can see how strong it is.
Yeah, and so this is he discards 4 cards, and they're all good cards: Questing Beast, Wasteland, and True Name or something. Vendilion Click, and then another 1 mana spell. So. Oko gets to resolve them. Nice. So that was the last card he kept in hand, obviously, was the Oko. Now, Oko is very good here on this basically empty board, but it's not as good as Dak Faden, I believe, because Dak Faden will actively find an.
I think it's not as good when you've got a Bone Crusher Giant.
Yeah, so essentially in this situation where they're top decking, Dak Faden ensures that Drew is going to find something, whereas Oko is going to make a 3/3. And then it gives him about 2 to 4 turns window. And Dak Faden for 2 to 4 turns is so good. Insanely good. So...
See, that's very interesting. I think I like Oko because Oko actually generates something. And
in this situation, I think Dak's way better.
Well, we'll find out, I suppose. I mean, I think Drew was ahead after balance. Either way.
Yeah, he got a 2 for 4. So he basically got 2 2-for-1s for 2 mana. Which is insane, right? So, the main thing here is that, I completely agree. I think on an empty board, I want Oko for sure. But the fact that his opponent has Dak Faden now, I think the Dak Faden is more valuable here in the card selection. Drew's going to have constant fuel as necessary. And look at that. He's discarding real cards and keeping lands in hand. So, and that's often counterintuitive. People often just discard all their lands to Dak so they can have spells. But in reality, Drew is in a situation where he needs his land and he's going to use that to take the game over.
Well, I think also if you consider that if you do trust in Dak, our Lord and Saviour, then you'll realise that, yes, I do want gas, but Dak will find me that gas. So he wants the lands here to play gas and assuming that he can then... find gas in the next turn. Gideon's really good, and it's not just a good card. I think he's underrated, but it's so good in Drew's deck for the reasons we were saying before about balance, but also just like so good against combo. And it's one of those few threats. We were saying how Drew really, really rates threats and he needs a few more. It's one of the really good closes for him.
Yeah. And as you can see here, so Dak Faden helped him find a way to answer Oko's presence, essentially. Oko can turn his food token into an elk, but that food token, that particular permanent, cannot do damage. It's
right. So Gideon here can... Well, this is a tough one, because if Gideon swings Oko and Oko just takes it, this is a testament to Oko's power, really. But if Gideon swings Oko, then Bop, Birds of Paradise, becomes a 3/3, and then that gets to swing back into Gideon, although...
No. He just pluses to make one of the food tokens not able to do any damage, and then he plays Bone Crusher Giant, which blocks the other elk. So Dak Faden here. Whoa.
Neg 6.
Look at that. -6.
I don't think I've seen a Neg 6 in Highlander.
Oh, I do it all the time.
I think maybe I've usually lost by that time.
Yeah, I think people just concede, so they don't really actually get to see. They see Dak Faden's on 6. They haven't got an answer for it.
But you could play Bone Crusher, right? I mean, the Dak changed everything.
Oh.
Okay. Oh. He's got red. He can redirect.
So I think we can demonstrate here that yes, Dak was better in this one situation because the Dak found a threat and then it found a chain lightning or whatever.
I have to concede.
Yeah.
There is a redirection here, but I think Bone Crusher Giant here with the last 3 mana is also quite good because you can block and keep Gideon alive. Mm-hmm. So James could have redirected 3 damage there, right? To Gideon or something.
He could have. So that he was reading it, obviously. So there was probably a reason. Oh no, it's all right. So, wait, the chain lightning can't be redirected because
it can be.
Oh, why is it not? So he's got something then, right?
Maybe it requires once chain lightning resolves and it has to be a permanent. If he changed something you control, but James didn't control it.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Could be.
Something like that. A judge will probably tell us. It's all right.
He got mystical there, but he can't play...
he's got 4
He
islands.
doesn't have red, though.
No, so
he's
got...
Crusher.
That's right. I don't think he cares. Because he
just turn an emblem into an elk.
So... No. So what happened was he played his... he cracked his fetch land. The fetch land was waiting there. And then he put Chain Lightning on top of the deck.
So he's just
it doesn't matter if he plays Bone Crusher or not. Yeah. Whatever it is, he's just going to gain control of no matter what. Like top deck, Glory Bringer, doesn't even have enough mana. Top deck, Mantis Rider attacks, kills, doesn't kill anything, it just deals some damage to something. It's just not enough.
So Chain Lightning is that creature's controller. But it's only once. It's only once Chain Lightning's done 3 damage, so it becomes Drew's permanent.
Then it deals 3
and then it deals damage, and then the redirection applies. And at that point, James doesn't control it. Let's move on to sideboards.
That was such a sweet game.
That was really good.
That was really interesting.
To be honest,
that was balanced. That was a balanced game.
It was. I was just about to say that shows the power of balance. You just get ahead on all fronts.
Yeah, if you're not on it, get around it. Just.
So if I'm James, Drew's decks are hard to sideboard against because it's not a traditional control.
Yeah, exactly. I've done it so many times. I've been like, I'll bring in Blood Moon against you because then I can punish your all non-basics.
But there's not even that.
Yeah, and he's like, nah, I've just got basics, and he just goes and fetches his basics, and it's really, really good.
And then you're like, I'll get artifact destruction. He's got a lot of artifacts, but they're just like.
You don't want to destroy them. Yeah.
Baubles and stuff.
Like you can't destroy it.
Scrabbling claws, whatever.
Yeah. And if you bring in your like storm hate, like deafening silence, you can't cast multiple spells, and he's like, well, I don't really need to.
Yeah, that's right.
It's really, really hard to get to cycle.
I mean, even something like Titania, like a big tab out spell, I think I would bring it in, but even something like that gets balanced or swept. And it's almost a bit late, like you don't want to be in the late game against Drew's deck.
There's also another thing.
It's tough.
There's another thing here, which is how valuable is Veil of Summer? So
I think Veil would be coming in, but
I think Veil comes in. I don't think it's
crushing.
Exactly. Like normally in Highlander, people are on either discard or they're on counter spells. And some decks are on both, and Veil just absolutely destroys them. Like in the Grixis Control matchup, Veil Summer's insane. And then you have this Jeskai deck that has all these bolts and lightning helices, and
paths and swords.
Yeah, paths and swords, and you're just like, okay, yep, I've got this Veil, and it's not protecting any of my threats, so it's not protecting my tempo game. All it's doing is
protecting my counter spells, and neither of us have that many
and they have
counters.
like Spell Pierce. You know? Like Drew doesn't even run counter spell. It's not even like it doesn't feel like a hard control deck, even though he's able to pivot and play like a hard control deck.
It's almost like a lock deck, isn't it?
Well, I think in some ways it's like on the tempo spectrum. So it's a control deck that's able to play a tempo game, but it's got good role identification. Oh, here we go. So he brought in Return to Nature and Pyroblasts, and he's taken out some removal and things like, was that Spell Queller? Some like dirtly stuff. So he is...
Spell Queller's a really good one in tempo as well.
Oh, look how much he's taken out. He's taken out like
10
cards.
Oh
yeah.
My
So he's taken out his cycling land, and he's taken out some removal spells. Quite a few removal
Chain
spells.
Lightning and Lightning Tutor?
Well, no.
Was it?
No. So that's...
Vendilion Click?
So here we go. All cheap interaction. Wow.
Including Moon and Back to Basics.
Yeah, he's got Back to Basics.
Engineered Plague. Engineered... Explosive Engineered.
And he's got Stoneforge Mystic and Batterskull. Wow. That is not what I expected to happen. But, well, that was all like... He's gone lean and mean. Did you see how he took out things like Mission Briefing, which are just usually 3 to 4 mana, and he brought in all these ones. There's so many ones there.
Well, James didn't see it, but James is actually quite aggressive. I mean, he's playing Wild Nikado. When Drew's actually played James before, so he knows what James on. So I think part of that is keeping lean and mean because he's scared of like some kind of aggressive start as well.
Yeah, and this is one reason why tempo is doing so well is that people often like if I'm playing tempo and my opponent is on control and they take out their a marginal 3 mana spell and put in a powerful 3 mana spell, then I'm like, whatever, don't care. Like, I'm still going to be going underneath you and countering that thing. When your opponent takes out their Mystic Confluence and their Cryptic Command and they put in Red Elemental Blast and Hydroblast, you're like, okay, we have a real game because they've now changed their curve such that they're able to interact with a tempo deck and they have more lands than you. So it's really quite hard to beat a control player who sideboards lean and mean. So I think that's probably the angle that Drew's taking. That's why it seems so dramatic that it's taken out, 10 cards, bringing in 10 cards. We'll also see the power of 0-point Stoneforge Mystic though.
I'm looking forward to that. Drew's only just added it, obviously, quite recently, because it's been depointed, I assume.
Do you like how Return to Nature was brought in by James, and it was kind of on the furthest on the right, which means it was the one he kind of like snap brought in, or was the first card that he put down?
I think it is a snap bring in because Drew's got it all. He's got.
All right, look at that. So. That's so cheap, right? It's all ones, and then a Stoneforge Mystic.
If I'd be wanting 4 of the natures because he's got artifacts that we discussed, including Batterskull.
There's nothing good to kill with artifacts.
Future Sight. You can Future Sight. Batterskull, Future Sight, and A-Call in the bin, trying to get back off Sanctuary.
I guess so. Maybe they've just played this matchup before and he just knows how important Future Sight is and he's like, nah, I'm just going to
honestly, Drew's Planeswalkers are one of the things that make him really strong.
And they're hard to answer, right? Like, they're white Planeswalkers. You can't blast them.
Mantis Rider's pretty good.
Yeah, actually the power level of the haste creatures is going to be so high in this matchup.
And he's got Questing Beast as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He's got 3 haste creatures, right? Mantis Rider, Questing Beast, and the 5 Monster Bringer.
I mean, he played the
this is good.
turn 1 Hex Drinker last.
Remember how I was saying like Drew's hand is all ones?
Yeah.
One of them's a 0.
And he's just drawn a red elemental blast.
Oh.
But last game, Hex Drinker was played turn 1 by James.
Yeah, that's great.
And Bone Crusher just absolutely destroyed it.
Yeah. And so this is the advantage of playing tempo that's not just like blue-red in Highlander.
Well, he's got Mana
green.
He's got Mana Leak and Brazen Borrow here. But
Bauble.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be Mana Leaking
this is the thing. This is the thing that Drew was telling me about. So he was like, Bauble is actually card advantage. I'm like, oh, no, it's not. No, it's not. And he's like, yeah, you kind of almost get card advantage by using it like a scry. Like, you think it's just a trinket effect, but he's like, you're always going to have a fetch land. You're going to have like 9, 10 fetch lands. So you play the Bauble and you look, and you can always shuffle. Wait, no, you can put it on the... Because you can't manipulate where that card is.
But you can shuffle.
But you can shuffle it away.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a free, scry. It's just like actually says scry on it. That's how he's treating it, which seems good. 0 mana scry 1.
0 mana scry 1, and if you've got balance, you can...
And if you've got balance, yeah. Exactly.
Or Mentor as well off future side. It's really good.
This is incredibly strong though, right? Teferi. Because Teferi here...
Teferi's annoying as well, because you can't just like Brazen Borrow or like destroy it once it's out.
Yeah.
You have to counter it.
Yeah, you have to counter it. And Drew's got something like, Pyroblast and Flusterstorm, and he's got
he's
all
got
these
Reb
cards.
Here, right? He's got Reb, so we know he can counter it.
But the main thing is, I think, he's not sure maybe
he likes the top of his... Maybe he liked what was on top.
No, because he drew it already, because he drew it in the upkeep.
Of course, yeah.
So maybe it's about which lands he wants to get. I'm not sure. Because remember, there's that Prismatic Vista, and he has Blood Moons in the deck, Magus of the Moon in the deck as well. So now, all right. I thought I saw Mental Misstep in James's hand, but no, that's a Mana Leak. Sorry.
Yeah, there's Mana Leak and a Return to Nature, I believe.
Yeah, nice.
That
Return to Nature is going to be real.
Now this is really good. Like being able to counter their 3-drop and untap with a cheaper threat that's arguably equally as terrifying.
The counter spell up, like that. I guess that Prismatic Vista is earmarked to fetch basic island, and he's got Flusterstorm, maybe.
Well, it's threatening that at least.
Yeah, that's it. Like that's what I'd be worried about.
I believe he might even have Red Elemental Blast as well, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I remember his opening hand was lots of blasts. So no play for James.
Cool.
Now that means that. Oh, did you draw A-Call for the turn?
Drew A-Call,
nice.
But you know what? You don't even need to A-Call here. Like,
no,
you've got plenty of gas unless you're desperate to hit a land.
No, you're not going to main phase A-Call when your opponent's on 4 mana.
No, although that's, to be fair, that's one of the benefits of A-Call. It's not just that it's powerful, it's that it's cheap.
Yeah.
And
so
part of that...
Brazen Borrower. So I really like this. This is forcing him. I really like this play from James. It forces the activation, which lets him back to nature the Batterskull.
And then, it's pretty good. And then Stoneforge in hand, assuming that James doesn't have other equipment, which he probably wouldn't, assuming that, then it's just a 1-2, right? So there's no, you're not losing value.
Is this going to be the blowout? Is this it?
Well,
I'm sure James is feeling this is like, no, please don't, like... This was such a well-engineered situation from James of the bounce the guy at end of turn, make you activate it, back to nature your thing, return to nature, and it starts to stop. Oh, this is so painful. Oh, that's so brutal for James.
I was talking with Drew about Batterskull and what's good and bad about it, and one of the things...
Nice. Oh, that is really so good. That is awesome.
Although Batterskull lines up quite well against it.
It does. It gains 4 life a turn, right?
I think what I said was all you need to do...
1 life a turn because you're attacking. Yeah.
All you need to do is connect once with Batterskull and you sort of switch off an entire game plan.
Yep.
Like, price of progress aside, you basically get out of burn range for almost every burn deck. And even if you're on just 3 life and you connect once with Batterskull, that's obviously even better than being on 16 life and connecting once. But now there's really no scenario where James can like lightning bolt, lightning helix the face and win.
I like the A call when your opponent has tapped off all their blue sources, because Savannah's not going to represent a, Flusterstorm or something like that.
Yeah, you don't need to snap off A call if you're playing it. Sometimes it's good, and if it gets countered, it's brutal. But is it that brutal? Because if you've got other gas in hand, you can then just deploy that gas.
Yeah, people often play the A call.
But you don't need to. If you've got gas, just play your gas.
That's it. Wow.
That's really good.
Oh, man.
Resolve, Threat,
and Blood Moon.
Because it hurts Drew as well, but Drew's ahead.
It barely hurts.
Drew's ahead, so
shuts off the planes, that's about it. Like, he doesn't have white source, but...
He's saying both of us are going to play less Magic.
Yeah, but I'm already winning more than you. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think Blood Moon doesn't really affect him much at all.
Well, James is on a 4-colour deck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think he might even only have one basic, right? I'll double check.
So with this kind of True Name Nemesis Batterskull standoff, the True Name Nemesis prevents the damage from Batterskull. That's why Drew's not attacking. So it actually... Oh, no. Technically, he should just attack, right? He could just attack anyway and represent... Oh, maybe you get blown out by it. Oh, okay. So... This is a hard cast 3/1 at end of turn, and then the mana leak interacting with it, but then Force of Negation pitching Hydra Blast, and this is just to make a flying threat. I really like that. It's so aggressive from Drew to be like, I'm going to protect this 3/1 that has no text, and it's just because he's recognised, like, I'm just going to turn this sideways. This is my win con. A lot of the time people will be like, I don't want to counter a mana leak when I'm on, like, 2 mana available. Like, it feels bad, but I think it's right.
Yeah, and Stompy there, really quite good. Just clean answer to that. And keep in mind, James actually got his own Brazen Borrower there off to the side.
Yes.
So James could block and trade with a Brazen Borrower, although you could equip 5 mana to... Batterskull. Mm-hmm. His Brazen Borrower is not trading with it anymore.
So this is Remand on the Stomp, which was in Upkeep, and now it's the second Stomp. I remember Izzet Charm was drawn for turn about 2 turns ago. There's Izzet Charm, counters the Stomp, and that obviously counters the guy can't go on to Adventure.
Yep, absolutely.
Remember that Brazen Borrower was still on Adventure, but I don't think it's ever going to be cast. Yeah, because of that lack of double blue.
Yeah, and I had a quick skim of James's list. I think it's just Island. It's in alphabetical order, so...
Yeah, single basic Island, And single basic Island is really important in these 4-colour decks because it allows you to have Brazen Borrower to bounce a Blood Moon and then, have an answer for it or play your threats. But Basic Island doesn't cast Noble Hierarch, so it's going to be really hard to get back. Oh, this is that tech. Yeah, this is Ash Barrens searches, it cycles for basic land. So he cycles it and finds the basic planes. Ash Barrens is a card that Drew was telling me to play for a while, and I'm like, yeah, I guess so. Like, I've seen it in the sideboard of Jacob Dunn's lists in those 4-colour lists. And he's like, no, just play Ash Barrens. It's great. Like, it just gets you out.
Exactly. You can play, it's not like Prismatic Vista.
Yeah.
Because you can play it once Moon's out.
Yeah.
Exactly in this scenario.
Exactly right.
And
really nice.
Thing in the Ice, that's another new threat that Drew's added. Just being a bit cautious that there's not enough threats in the deck.
And he likes it more than Young Pyromancer.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of reasons for that. And that's usually because it blocks really well against aggro. So it just buys him so much time. And in the late game, he likes to play the thing in the ice and then cast a couple of spells and have an out to True Name Nemesis. Have an out to your opponent's board. Bounce everything. They're all gone. I have a 7/8 or whatever it is. And then your opponent has to reset again, which Young Pyromancer can't do. Young Pyromancer can't get back from, say, a very, very bad board state because you cast 4 spells, you make 4 blockers, you chump block, and then you're in exactly the same situation the following turn.
Yeah, well, you know what else you could do? You could cast your 4th one, flip a whole bunch of flip Thing in the Ice, bounce a whole bunch of creatures, swing and kill a Planeswalker, balance, sacrifice your Thing in the Ice, they discard all the creatures you just bounced.
I think you've just described Drew's dreams. Dreams about that every day, I'm sure. So here's a preordain, and look, if it's not basic land, it's got to be a red threat, right? Just find Glorybringer
Glorybringer would be decent.
Yeah, Glorybringer would do work. It would attack. It would kill the thing in the ice. But sadly, he's going to need, land Chrome Mox Glorybringer. That's going to be really, really hard to find that when it doesn't exist.
Yeah. And as I said, there's still the option for Drew to is that Spell Pierce? Yeah,
Spell Pierce or Stifle or something.
I think it's
they're all Egyptian.
There's no blue up anyway right now, but
there's
still the option of just equipping Batterskull to a flyer. And then worst case scenario, Brazen Borrow gets killed in response or something by a bolt effect, and then you just replay the bounce and replay the Batterskull.
One frustrating thing is drawing Brainstorm when you're under Blood Moon and you have no way to shuffle. Ash Baron solves that problem.
That's a good point, actually.
Yeah, you can just draw and then Ash Barons shuffle.
But the other good thing about Batterskull is there's a threat that you can play under Blood Moon.
Yeah, I like it.
Colourless threat.
Yeah, I like it a lot. So now that we've seen what happens when, someone gets locked under a Blood Moon, if we had a hypothetical scenario and there was no Blood Moon, I still think Drew's ahead.
I do too.
Because of that, yeah.
It's hard to say. I mean, James could be doing a lot.
We can see James's hand as Knight of the Reliquary and stuff. That would change things a lot. Mystical Tutor for Entreat the Angels and just, If he was, I can't really do it here, but if he, if it wasn't a Blood Moon, then, that's a line open to him. That was just unexpected. Just, if you described the game to someone and said, you got to watch this match, these are the things that, what do you think is going to happen?
Tempo versus control.
They're not gonna imagine the things that just happened in that game. That was just, they put on a clinic, really.
I know James, I'm not going to say crushed, but I think it was convincingly beat Drew in the exact same two decks, the same matchup in the Invitational, which was just maybe a week or two before.
So
but that was in the semis, so that was
they've had that actual.
They're both, and they're such different decks. It's so interesting to see. It's not that Tempo is just crushing right now. I mean, Tempo is, but there's two different, vastly different decks that are both rising to the top consistently.
Yeah, for sure. Drew's been on this list and he's gone 5-0, 5-0, 5-0 at the 3 Adelaide Eternal events in a row. Then he went 5-0 at the Good Games event and won the top 8 or whatever it was. And then in the latest one, he went to the semi-finals and lost to James.
Yeah.
That's... This,
and James ended up winning.
I think I should be playing Drew's deck. It's really good.
He's
onto something. He's onto something. James has done a similar thing, being going 5-0, 5-0, all the Good Games ones with this four color tempo deck. Oh man, I love them both. I love both the players and their decks. This is so sweet. Thanks very much for watching the Adelaide Eternal Highlander Challenge coverage. You can probably tune in relatively soon in the coming weeks for the Adelaide Eternal Highlander Cup and the Adelaide Eternal Legacy Cup coverage, which will be coming to a channel near you, i.e. our channel.
We'll see you then, guys. Thanks heaps.